The Fatima, Portugal miracle. Over 70,000 people watched as the sun whirled around in the sky. This took place in 1917. These are the children of Fatima. This is on Humans Are Free. On May 13, 1917, an apparition appeared to three young shepherd children tending the sheep in the town of Fatima in Portugal. The children were ages 7, 9, and 10. Lucia Santos, 10 years old, and her two cousins, Jacinta, 7, and Francisco Marto, 9. Lucia Santos, the oldest, could see, hear, and talk to the apparition, later referred to as the Virgin Mary. Lucia's cousins, Jacinta, 7, and Francisco Marto, 9, could not speak to the vision but could see and hear her or only see her. The apparition, glowing brighter than a crystal, told the children she would visit them again at the same place above a small oak tree in a field called Cova da Iria on the 13th day of each month for the next 6 months. In Lucia Santos' own words, the apparition was a lady dressed in white, shining brighter than the sun, giving out rays of clear and intense light. Although the children initially tried to keep it a secret, Jacinta told her mother about the vision. The concerned mother took her daughter to the local priest, and Jacinta refused to change or deny her story. Then a state bureaucrat took all the children to Villanova de Urem, hoping that they would recant their story, that is. They all refused, because they believed it was the truth, of course. Now word spread through the town, and soon crowds started forming as the children made their way to the field on the 13th day of the next month. The crowds grew even larger each month. Even though they saw nothing, they would watch as the children stood transfixed by the vision before them. The apparition told the children 3 secrets, but asked that they not be revealed until the time was right. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. We should remember that the Virgin Mary and our Lord Jesus Christ do appear to people before wars, warning that there will be something coming. Now, the Virgin Mary obviously knew that there was also the Spanish flu coming, the First World War coming, and also the Bolshevik Revolution of Russia that would put Russia into the communist agenda of outlawing faith. Nobody was allowed to follow their faith. You can imagine that in the factories, from what people of Russia that have come back to Europe tell me, they were being fed meat on Fridays so that they could weed out the Christians who wanted to, on Wednesdays and Fridays, fast by not having meat, Wednesdays and Fridays, and they would that way find out who was still practicing their Christian faith. You can imagine, in order to chastise them, obviously. So our Virgin Mary was coming in order to warn the world of what was to come. On the final month in October, a crowd of 70,000 people formed to witness what they hoped would be a final important message. The Virgin Mary told Lucia that she would give the crowd a sign. She said in her apparition, the Virgin Mary, that is, told Lucia, "In October I will perform a miracle so that all may believe." The day was rainy and the crowd was walking through the mud. Though only the children could see the apparition, Lucia told the crowd to look towards the sun, and thousands of people present for miles around the location reported witnessing what came to be known as the miracle of the sun. There were reports that people as far away as 25 miles saw this miracle. The clouds parted, and thousands of people reported seeing a silvery disk emerge, which danced and zigzagged across the sky, appearing to move closer to the viewers. Bright colored lights in rainbow hues shone down in a psychedelic pinwheel pattern, according to some accounts. The strange display went on for 10 minutes. Now, moments earlier, the crowd was drenched in rain, with open umbrellas covering the landscape, And the newspaper photos captured spectators as they watched in awe the miracle of the sun in Fatima, many thinking it was even the end of the world. Now, the following is allegedly a genuine picture of the swirling sun, though in very low resolution and taken from a newspaper. And it's a graphic representation of what the swirling sun might have looked like in real life. The newspaper in Lisbon described what happened. Quote, before the astonished eyes of the crowd, whose aspect was biblical as they stood bareheaded, eagerly searching the sky, the sun trembled, made sudden incredible movements outside all cosmic laws. The sun danced according to the typical expression of the people. Another secular newspaper in Lisbon described it like this. The silver sun was seen to whirl and turn in the circle of broken clouds. A cry went up from every mouth, and the people fell on their knees on the muddy ground. The light turned a beautiful blue as if it had come through the stained glass windows of a cathedral and spread itself over the people who knelt with outstretched hands. Now listen, in the Holy Liturgy of the Christian Orthodox Church, we also see a baby blue to navy blue light coming out of the mouth of the priest as he says the words of the Holy Liturgy, and that blue light goes on to each person that is in the church. I have witnessed that myself, and then I read it in a book written by someone who had accumulated the witnessings of people and what they saw during the time of the Holy Liturgy. So this is not the first time we think of we hear of the witnessing of a beautiful blue light spreading over the people. Now, the paper goes on to say, the blue faded slowly, and then the light seemed to pass through yellow glass. People wept and prayed with uncovered heads in the presence of the miracle they had awaited. The seconds seemed like hours, so vivid were they. A young lawyer named Jose Almeida Garrett reported on what he saw as well. He said the sun's disk did not remain immobile. It was not the sparkling of a heavenly body, for it spun around on itself in a mad whirl. Then suddenly one heard a clamor, a cry of anguish breaking from all the people. The sun, whirling wildly, seemed to loosen itself from the firmament and advance threateningly upon the earth as if to crush us with its huge and fiery weight. Jose Maria del Almeida Garrett, science professor from Coimbra, described what he saw. He said, looking at the sun, I noticed that everything was becoming darkened. I looked first at the nearest objects and then extended my glance further afield as far as the horizon. I saw everything had assumed an amethyst color. Objects around me, the sky and the atmosphere, were of the same color. Everything, both near and far, had changed, taking on the color of old yellow damask. The soggy field inexplicably dried out quickly. The soaked spectators' clothing was somehow dry to the touch from the warmth generated by the strange light show. They reported feeling the heat of the sun as it approached them. There were also reports that a mysterious substance called angel hair fell on the ground. Okay? A mysterious substance called angel hair fell on the crowd, and even that the substance appeared to be a strange unicellular organism in the lab. The angel hair fell again in November 2014. 2014 in November, angel hair fell again, and a local observer told Metro that the strange substance, which disappears if touched, was analyzed and found to react to UV light coming alive. There are some reports that the original description of what the children saw was not the Virgin Mary, but an alien apparition they call the Little Woman or the Little Lady, standing 3 feet 7 inches tall. According to ancient origins, when the children asked the apparition where she was from, she pointed to the sky but made no mention of heaven. The apparition's mouth never moved, but her words were transmitted through vibrations, a buzzing sound that rang around them. Lucia could hear her telepathically. The apparition was not the average height of a human being, and in the first drawings of her by Lucia, she did not appear completely human. Quote, another physical attribute that was changed by the Catholic Church was that the being was said to be less than 3 feet tall and appeared to be bald. Over the course of interrogations and revisions, the children changed its appearance to that of a tall, beautiful lady, more fitting to the Virgin Mary archetype of the Church. In the book Heavenly Lights, The Apparitions of Fatima and the UFO Phenomenon by Portuguese historians, interviews with the children shortly after the miracle of the sun suggested the apparition was between 12 and 15 years old in appearance, made no facial movements, and carried a luminous ball at her waist. She would arrive from above and then rise into the sky and slowly disappear. 2 months before the Fatima events took place, a group of Portuguese spiritualists decided to take out ads in the local paper, Diário de Notícias. The ads predicted that May 13 would be a day of great happiness and one in which the brilliant light of the morning star will illuminate the path, quote unquote. The 2 younger children would die just 2 years later due to the Spanish flu epidemic that hit Fatima shortly after the apparition's appearances. The apparitions had predicted their early deaths. Lucia carried on, later becoming a Carmelite nun and revealing the words of the apparition in her memoir, Fatima's in Lucia's own words, and also in a sealed envelope, which we'll look at more in the second part of the article. Following the news of what happened, some people were angered, thinking that all was a hoax or collective hallucination. After a small chapel was built at the site, they attempted to even blow it up. According to the Catholic Herald, a small tree survived the attack. Quote, their opposition included an attempt to blow up the little chapel which had been built at the site of the apparitions in March 1922. Although the roof of the chapel was blown off, the tree where Our Lady appeared was undamaged. By 1930, the Catholic Church verified that what took place was worthy of belief. The 2 children would become canonized, and the mysterious words of the apparition of the Virgin Mary would predict important events in history. There have been many explanations for what took place, including the phenomenon called pareidolia, known to psychologists. It's a tendency to see patterns in randomness. Others suggest that people were simply staring at the sun and strained their eyes, but the fact that thousands saw the phenomenon in unison is truly unexplainable. In the next part of the story, we'll examine in more detail the messages that Sister Lucia claimed that the Virgin Mary told her at Fatima and in later visits, and we can see more about what happened by the angel before the appearance of Virgin Mary in the video, and I'll leave a link below for you for this. The source is Ancient Code, and I'll leave a link below. The video is only about 3 or 4 minutes. I believe that it was the Virgin Mary. We have the Virgin Mary appearing not only to little children, even to sinners, and comforting them and touching them, basically before Jesus touches them. It's a sort of like a pathway into not fearing Jesus changing your life by giving you a calling. Thank you for your support. God bless you in this special Lent season. May we all have very strong faith and become living saints of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for your support. God bless you all.